All right, we are live in our group, United in Success. My name is Liberty Santiago. I am your host and founder of this group. The episode here today is with Amy, and this is Coach's Corner. So Coach's Corner is designed to highlight an expert in their field and get tips and tricks. Also be this learning experience for you to connect with another amazing coach that her services may help you, and you may be able to connect and resonate with her story of becoming a successful entrepreneur. So without further ado, Amy, will you introduce yourself?
Hello, hi. My name is Amy Airom. I'm the founder of Capitalized Social Media. I just realized I have my wired headset on. I usually like wear my AirPods, but we're going to go with it. I help life and business coaches gain visibility and increase impact by harnessing the power of live video. And I'm super excited to be here today and having fun on the guest side of the screen, not the host side. So thank you for having me, Liberty. I'm excited to be here to join your group or to be in your group and connect with your members.
You are so welcome. Tell us a little bit about the show that you have, how you showcase people and that whole process.
Yeah, so I like how you're a coaches, so Coaches Corner. My name of my show is Coaches Go Social, and I have it on my Facebook business page the second and fourth Tuesday of every month at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. So of course, love for you to join me there. I interview experts and guests in all aspects of business to support coaches and to give visibility to coaches as well. My past career, I was a coach, and my journey has gone a little different than most, I think, but it's perfect for me in the fact that I love supporting and helping other people find their passion and help grow their business ultimately in this realm. So it's been really fun. And yeah, people connect. I have guests on. I had one last week that was a website designer, and then my community shows up. They listen in, they connect, they trust me because they know I'm bringing experts to them that I connect with that are very valuable. And there was a couple of connections made and sales made and relationships built and all that fun stuff. So yeah, it's a really neat experience.
That's so great. That's exactly what Coach's Corner is. Also, is the visibility, the connection. I absolutely love that, and I see this more and more on like podcasts and podcasts and all these different things. And really, the theme here is collaboration, right? I love it. In 2020, I collaborated with some amazing people and, did some stuff I would never be able to do by myself. And that's why I was like, you know what? We really need to have this consistent platform to be able to really raise each other up for that energy flow, right? We want to be
Yeah.
showcased, other people want to be showcased, and it's just a really beautiful way to have this interaction. And especially during a pandemic too, we get to meet more people. So
Yes.
it's really, really good.
Yeah.
So something that you just said is a great question for me to lean into is you said that you used to be a coach. So talk about that a little bit. And I know a lot of entrepreneurs that pivot, right? But your core value, your core goal, that big goal doesn't change, but the plan along the way sometimes changes. And I think that's really good to honor and respect, the learning that happens within our journey of being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for catching that. I've been an entrepreneur for almost 7 years. Before that, I had a really long career in corporate. I was with Verizon for 15 years. I started, as like an entry level position and went through to management. I graduated with my bachelor's in business management and got that experience. And I became kind of like the catch-all manager to fix the stores that were underperforming, basically. And when I got pregnant with my son, like I said, after 15 years, I was like, I don't think this is where I see myself with a family and this lifestyle and working weekends and all late hours and all the schedule all over the place. So I had the opportunity to be a stay-at-home mom. So I quit my job and I was like, ooh, I get to be a stay-at-home mom. I get to hang out with my baby all day long. This is gonna be great. And after like 6 months, I was like, oh, this is not what I expected. This is not at all what I thought it was going to be like. And, the truth of the matter is I've been working for my whole life, and that's what I was used to. And to go to a dead stop and not have that work environment and that camaraderie and, that consistent paycheck, where that's a whole other story, that it's just all wrapped up in kind of your identity. And that was just really different for me to experience. So when I sounds like between like 6 and 9 months old, my husband's like, well, do you want to start your own business? And I was like, okay, like that's not something that I ever really thought of before. But the truth of it is that different than right now where everybody is pretty much working from home. There wasn't these opportunities 7 years ago. I was like online looking, like what can I do from home, part-time, anything online, all that stuff. And there wasn't. And so that's why I created the opportunity. I created the business. I started with a blog and it turned into social media. And now I'm focused on organic Facebook content strategy and live video strategy. So it's kind of like long story short, it's a long culmination of, like you said, like everything kind of comes together. Your goal is always the same. It just kind of morphs into something different. And that's where I'm at. So I'm excited to be here.
Love that. That's so amazing. And you're just an amazing energy. And I know we have developed our relationship just out of the blue on Facebook, and just you've been so welcoming and warm. And I'm always like over here going, this girl's so nice. I think you're one of the first people that I really connected with and was invited to do something with. And I was like, oh, this is new. This is cool. So I really appreciate you for just being who you are and just showing up and helping out new coaches too. So tell me about how is it that you help out a new coach?
Yeah, definitely. Well, because we're on social media and that's pretty much what we can do to talk about our business, that's being able to get help new coaches kind of navigate this like crazy world, because there are so many things. There's Facebook. Do I go on Facebook? Do I go on Instagram? Do I go on, Twitter? Do I hop over to Snapchat? Clubhouse, here's Clubhouse. Oh, there's TikTok. There's all these things, like where should I be? Where do I go? And, I like to, have a quick conversation with someone that, understands who their ideal client is and be able to go, okay, here, focus on this destination, this platform, and then, get a hold of it and then branch out, because there's so much you can do with organic, number one, on any of these platforms, which means not using paid ads. And there's so much that you can do if you just like focus on one particular place. And ultimately my goal, and what I, teach my clients and everyone that's kind of brought into my world, is that it's all about building relationships. And you're building relationships, you're connecting with people. That's what I've always been about. And being able to create that environment and that connection, no matter what platform you're on. They're all, they're just kind of have these different nuances, but it's being able to harness the power of that platform to leverage and to connect with people. Social media is all about being social, and half of it's putting content out there, half of it's put it yourself out there, and really having the right messaging and things. So I have a Facebook group, the Consistent Content Club, that I've been very slowly growing. You're all invited in though. And basically it's just a place for you to get your questions answered about social media. Where do I start? What do I post on Facebook? What do I, how do I use, there's lots of intricacies of the platform and different things you can do. So it's really an open platform for you to join in and get the support that you need to grow your business, grow your coaching business.
I love that. That is a great place to help people and provide value, because that's what ultimately, a lot of coaches need to do first before they get clients is create and provide value. So that's a wonderful tip to be able to give to new coaches, is to show up and give that value in a platform where it's easily accessible to people. So could you answer this for me? What would you say to somebody who is not afraid to go live and doesn't really like a long copy content? What would you say to that person? How would you help them build up their confidence in copy?
And like, as far as what they would say on camera, you mean? Oh yeah, definitely.
No, posts. They're not afraid to go live, but they have a difficult time translating their personality and their attraction on copy, which is
Oh, got it. The
written
written version. Got it. Got it. Got it. Okay. I'm all video. Okay. Yes. We're talking about copy. This is a good, this is a good transition. Yeah, definitely. This is something I think everybody struggles with, because you think that, like, you're writing something and you're not saying it. And this is, again, something that I've gone through as well. It comes out different, right? You're like, I'm typing this and it's not what I'm saying, but it's what I want to say. But think about it in as if you were actually having a conversation, and what words would you actually be using? Because I know I'm a lot more casual when I have a conversation one-on-one than I would be when I'm just like, writing an email. It's a little, it's a little different. So that nuance, that little switch to be able to go, okay, I'm going to write this how I speak. And then when you go back and read it, you can hear yourself saying it. And then you go, oh, okay. And that's how people are going to absorb it. That's how they're going to see it. They're going to see your personality come out, and they're going to see, what you really are like and how you speak. But again, that's a huge advantage of video, is you being able to, like, actually talk and have a conversation, and people get to know you and connect with you. And, that sort of thing, that doesn't instantly convey until you put some time and effort into figuring that out on the copy end of things. So that's definitely something that you want to get a hold of, because it will help you with all of your marketing.
Yeah, it's so true. And I definitely have been leaning into that zone. Like, okay, how do I type without sounding like a corporate manual, right? And the reason why I think this is what comes up in my mind anyways, is why do I type like that? Like, why do I write like that? It's because that's how we're taught to write in school, right?
Oh, sure.
We're taught to write like very grammatically correct. And I'm over here going like, this sounds so robotic, and that's not me. Like, whoa.
Yeah.
So that could be a challenge. Well, I know it's a challenge for me anyways.
Oh, it's very common. Yeah. And no, and I was the same way too. Like, and then people that know me go, oh, that doesn't even sound like you. I'm like, oh yeah, it doesn't. Let me type how I talk. That's really what it should be, is like that, your personality coming out of, think about, you're telling a friend a story, like you're talking to one person, because only one person's a lot of, people are reading it, but they're only one person. You're not talking to a huge audience. You want to just make sure that that person's reading it feels like you're talking directly to them.
Oh, yes. That's another great tip. That's amazing. So, how would you say to stand out, among the big sea of coaches that are out there? How do you help people to be more visible to their ideal client? Because what I'm learning is there's so many coaches, there's so many niches, there's so many helpers out there. And like, how do you stand out? What's your tip for people?
Yeah, the number one thing is be yourself. And I talk about this a lot in my show, because, there is a lot of coaches out there, but it's awesome because there's so many people out there that just really genuinely want to help other people. And I think that just gives me goosebumps. It's like awesome. And that, not to get caught up in the fact that there are so many people, because there is only one you. And I'm going to give you an example, a real life example of this, because this is only the best way I can explain it. Is last year I was looking at wanting to learn Facebook ads. I'm like, oh, let's go in here and see what this is all about. And being in the industry, I know a lot of people that do Facebook ads. There is like, I go to a conference every year, Social Media Marketing World, and there is like at least 20 on stage only talking about Facebook ads, let alone all the other people that you meet along the way, right? So in that small, little example, there's so many people that do Facebook ads. But when I thought about who, like, okay, I want to learn, who do I go to? There was one specific person that I remember that spoke on stage, not at that conference, at a different conference that I heard, and I immediately connected with her because of her mannerisms, like how she carried herself, how she delivered her message. And, she had small children, and I was like, oh, that I can totally relate to her. And I just like instantly just adored her. And when I thought I want to learn Facebook ads, I'm like, oh, I'm going to go to her. I am going to go straight to her. And I bought her course and went through her program. And then I learned that Facebook ads really wasn't the direction I wanted to go, but I felt really good in the process because I really liked her and I really connected with her. And that's just an example of the fact that like there's so many people out there, but there could be, you know, again, 20 people with the same message, but you are so individual. You are only going to deliver a message your way, and you're going to have your programs and your however you deliver your content. It's all going to be specifically just, you know, just you. And that's why, going back to how to present yourself, you know, you should just be yourself. You know, as weird it is that we're just talking to a camera, and you know, right now it's like, just be yourself, because that's how people are going to see you, and they are watching and they're going to pay attention. And Facebook Live, when you're posting content on Facebook and you're like, why aren't people listening to me? Well, you got to stand out and be yourself. And the way that you can do that on Facebook specifically, the best way to leverage it is using Facebook Live.
Yeah, that's so good. I love that. I know that for me, I even have gotten caught up in the fact that, and I've even said it live on Facebook, like, I'm just talking to my computer. I'm just talking to my phone. Like, this feels so weird. And I think that was coming from a genuine place of just missing that, like, belly to belly, you know, and seeing somebody else's face on the other side. And that this also is a great reason why I love Coach's Corner, because I'm talking to you.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so pretty cool. So I was like, hey, I can consistently go live. I can consistently connect with other people, and other people can be a fly on the wall and learn while I'm learning too.
Well, right. And like, think about that as such an opportunity. Like, we were used to going to events where we meet like maybe as many as we could in one day, 10, 20 at the most, you know, in an
Yeah.
hour, 2 hour meeting. And here we are, like, there's this like vast open internet opportunities to meet all sorts of different people. So, you know, thinking of it that way too.
Yeah, it's like, it could be sometimes like drinking out of a fire hydrant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Exactly.
Yeah, awesome. So I'm really curious to know, where are you headed in your business? I have a very clear understanding of what you do, and how you help people. And now I'm just interested in, like, where are you going? What's 2021 holding for you? What are you manifesting?
Oh, this is a good question. Thank you. Yeah, I think along with a lot of other people, this last year has given us an opportunity to really reflect and look back and kind of like take a step back and see what we're doing, what's going on, and looking at what works and what doesn't work. So before COVID, I was on a trajectory of, you know, a gigantic done for you social media agency. And when COVID hit, everything came to a dead stop. And here I am with my 7-year-old at home trying to figure out how to get on Zoom and trying to bust out content as much as I could and delegating all this stuff. I was like, whoa, wait a second. Like, I need to figure out how to make this work. And so, you know, when I took a good look at all the clients that I've had, the ones that were the most successful and the ones that weren't, the ones that stood out to be the most successful were the ones that are doing video. And I said, okay, I'm going to just focus on clients that want to use video, because I'm all about getting results. I'm not about spending my time, hours and hours of time, on doing things that aren't going to create results. So I completely pivoted, and I wouldn't say completely, because there was the messaging point of it. And then there was also the idea that, okay, I want to be known for somebody that is an expert in live video that can leverage this platform for results to be able to help these people get connected. You know, I help all service-based online entrepreneurs, including, you know, life and business coaches, and getting them to now venture out into this online world that they may not be so familiar with, that they need to know how to connect with people now. And so that's why I like completely switched over to like, I'm not doing your content for you anymore, but I will teach you how to do that. And that's where you get a little bit of it from my consistent content club. And then if you really want to jump in head first, go to Capitalize with Live. That's my course that I created. That is 12 weeks from start to finish. You go from like, don't even know how to do a Facebook Live to I've got a full strategy that attracts your ideal clients, build relationships strategically, or build strategic relationships, and it elevates you as an expert in your field. So that's basically, I built that course, and that is what I'm doing from now on. And I love it. I love the group interaction, where before I was doing a lot of the one-on-one. It's just it's so exhilarating being able to meet with these people every week that are just like growing and learning and like establishing this foundation of live video that's going to carry them through. So it's really exciting. So that's where my focus is.
That is really cool. And I think a lot of your potential clients are like in this group, because I talk to people who are like, I can't go live. And I'm like, you have to go live if you want to connect. I mean, it's just the way it is. I've even experimented with going live on Zoom and going live directly, and like posting just a video, and everyone loves the live. I've done polls. I'm like, I even got into my head like, no, people don't like live. Like, no, they don't, but they do. They do.
They do.
Yeah.
Look at the
So
numbers. They do. Yeah.
yeah. So for anybody watching, if you have that thought, like, create some market research, go out into your group, go out into your pool, put a little poll out there and ask, how do you like to connect? Live, pre-recorded, Zoom, enter a Zoom webinar. And I'm just blowing my mind over here, because they love the live. People love the live.
Yeah. Being able to connect, get that instant connection. And it's such a neat tool. And yeah, I can see, well, personally, I like a couple of years ago, I was like nervous to be on camera or on stage or anything like that, talking about me, my business. I'll talk about my corporate career and, being, an expert over there, but then that doesn't necessarily translate to your own business. It gets really personal. So I think what helps me and what helps my clients understand that, whenever you have a strategy, it's all about consistency and purpose. Like, you don't want to just press the live button just to say I did it. You want to have a purpose behind it, and you want to show up consistently, because that's the long-term success strategy that's going to create results.
Absolutely. That's so true. I know. There is a strategy. So, getting your message across and having something of value to say, is really good. If you want to just experiment with just going live, you could do that on your personal page. As I've seen, like, a lot of people really love connecting, like while I'm cooking a meal or putting something together or unboxing something. I don't know. That's just intriguing for people to like have a human connection. Like, hey, this is like a normal life scenario here. This isn't just a business chat, or this is not just an educational thing. Like, people do like that too, but more over there on the personal side. And I always drop in a like call to action, hey, I'm running this workshop over here in my other, in my group. If you're interested in hearing more about what I do, or however, then I drop that in there. And I've gotten consistent leads that way too. But as far as the content strategy goes, you're absolutely right. It comes down to consistency. And people get too worked up about like, what is the strategy, right? Like it's some secret code. It's consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Totally.
So
With marketing, you've got to be consistent. Yeah.
yeah, I love that. So again, your platform is where they can find you on the free side of things. Complimentary, get your value, kind of get your toes wet with you, is the consistent content club. And that group is linked above or below, depending on where you're watching, either YouTube or Facebook. So make sure you connect with Amy that way. She is there to provide a ton of value. So thank you so much for being so welcoming and sharing with me all these valuable gems along the way of our relationship, having me on your show, being on my show. And then also, lastly, Amy invited me into Clubhouse at the beginning of the month. And that has been an amazing resource for connection with, for me as well. So I love talking about Clubhouse too, because it's so fun. Do you want to share a couple minutes about Clubhouse and maybe, where do you see Clubhouse going?
Yeah, definitely going back to the connections and building relationships. There's two main things I see when I think about Clubhouse and any new social media platform, is that, we've got, as business owners, we've got a lot on our plate. So, making sure you're focused on your goals and what hopefully you've planned out what you really want the whole year to look like, and you've got things and those milestones set up. Make sure you're focused on that, and that's what's ultimately going to drive that. But if you decide to tap into Clubhouse, make sure that it kind of falls into your strategy overall. It's really a great place to connect, to build relationships again, and to not have that barrier of like, oh gosh, I have to be like camera ready. You can just go on anytime. You can listen in if you want to, or you can join the conversation and ask questions. Which I like to go on there to like kind of like podcasts sometimes. You listen to something, you get like a little idea and you run with it. That's sometimes what I like to do on Clubhouse. So connecting, but again, like we've had this conversation before we came on, you can get really sucked in really fast, and it can take a lot of time. Don't let that time take you away from like, okay, this is what my strategy is, and this is what I really want to focus on, because it's really easy to do as an entrepreneur. There's so many things to focus on. So, but of course I'm in the industry, and I am, like 100% into market research and seeing where it goes and things like that. So you'll find me over there too.
Yeah, absolutely. I see the notifications that you're holding rooms and planning things out. So I'm excited to get into those rooms with you occasionally. Like you said, we have to maintain our goals, not get too distracted with these shiny objects, but anybody who has the opportunity to check out Clubhouse should, just to know about it. And also, I think it helps you to become a leader, because it helps you to practice your speaking ability, your ability to connect with other people. And just by asking questions, people want to connect with you, because then they're getting to understand who you are, what it is that you do, and how it is that you want to advance yourself. And being able to be in that vulnerable position, like, hey, I need help with this particular thing, and you're showing up as an expert. And so it's a good reciprocal energy there too. So it's a good flow.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. And we're signing off now. So make sure you guys connect with Amy. She's wonderful. And you can see that she's just very welcoming and here to provide lots of value. Ciao, friends.
Bye.
Bye.